Hello, I'm going to demonstrate the Tune SQL Plan module in DB Ace Enterprise for Oracle. I know some people may want to tune a SQL statement from an application or third-party package that you don't have the source code, or you don't want to change to the source code, and you still want to improve the SQL statement. How can you do that? You can use our Tune SQL Plan module here, and you click New Section, and you paste your SQL statement here. For example, this SQL statement is going to execute by a SQL Plus program like this. You can paste the SQL statement here and execute. This SQL statement going to take a few seconds to execute. For example, this SQL statement takes about around 6 seconds to execute. Now you want to improve this SQL statement in SQL Plus or in your application. Let's come back to the Tune SQL Plan function. Tune SQL Plan function going to use SQL Patch or Plan Baseline to tune your SQL statements without the need to change your source code. So I use the default SQL Patch. And you can select which intelligence level you're going to use. For this SQL statement, I am using the lowest level and make the demonstration faster to finish. Okay, let's press the tune function. And then the default setting. So normally if you want to tune a SQL statement with battery elapsed time, you can use the default setting. Will be okay for most of SQL statement in an application. And you click OK here. Then our AI engine will generate various SQL patches for your SQL statement and will benchmark those SQL patch in your database. So see which SQL patch will have better execution time. For this SQL statement, you can see after generation of those SQL patches, we got the 18 SQL patches generated by 500 investigation of all SQL alternatives. The first SQL statement, the original SQL statement, take 8 seconds to execute. Here going to test run the SQL patch 3. The SQL patch 3 is a full scan of employee salary history. So you can see that the patch 7 have the best execution time or elapsed time. So this going to be deployed to our database to see if the SQL statement will execute better without the changing of the source code. So let's try to deploy this SQL patch. Okay, let's deploy the SQL patch here. You can see the original SQL statement and the SQL patch information here. Okay, and then you click deploy. So, after the deployment of this SQL patch, the original SQL statement will have better execution time. Let's see what happened in the SQL Plus here. Let's execute this SQL statement again. There are no change of syntax in the original statement. And now we execute it. The SQL statement is getting much better. It is about 5 times better without changing of the source code. So this is very useful for those third-party applications that you don't want to change the source code, or if you got multiple databases with different sizes of databases, and you have one source code for different size of databases. How do you tune the same SQL statement from one database to another database? So use specific SQL patch for each database. Will be the easy one for you to tune a database without the need to change your source code. Okay, that means you use one source code and tune for individual database with specific SQL patch. Let's go back to our original SQL statement here. If I drop this SQL patch, what will happen? I go back to the SQL Plus. The SQL is going to go back to the original speed. It is quite slower, around 6 seconds. So that's the way to improve your SQL statement without the need to change your source code by hours. Tune SQL Plan function. Thank you for watching our demonstration. Thanks.